Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome back. My name's Loic D-B and welcome to this, my studio tour. So here we are in DB Studios. It's been a while. We haven't, all this stuff is pretty new. I've got a whole new set of gear very recently because I've been doing a lot of upgrading of old equipment. For instance, the center of the studio right here, the audio interface. We used to have the lowest end UMC by Behringer. We now got the highest end. That's a bit of a win, I think. I think we've gone up in the world in that regard. But yeah, I think we're going to start over here with guitars. So first and foremost, we have a brand new guitar that is pretty new. It's my bass. It's a Ibanez Talman, very nice bass guitar. That's what I'm going to be using on a lot of the records I'm recording at the moment. Carrying along this way, we've got my Flying V, which I built. Beautiful guitar. We then move over to this, my old Martin. It's currently tuned in a really beautiful open tuning, in Yvette Young tuning. Really pretty. That's a guitar that's seen a lot of use and abuse, and it's sort of been retired now, which is I think's good for it. We then have this guitar, which is again built by me. This is a Telecaster Esquire sort of thing. It's got the single pickup, it's got a dark circuit. It's amazing, this guitar is. It's so traditional looking, it's so blocky, it's so raw wood, it's lovely. I love this guitar so much. It sounds brilliant as well. That's a good thing. And then we have this guitar used on pretty much every song I've ever recorded, is my Stag Gothic series. I've done so much work to this guitar. As we've seen, last year we ripped the whole thing out, custom wound pickups put in, fixed all the electronics, new bridge, new tuning machines, redid the whole set of the guitar, cleaned it all up, refinished parts of it where we've had buckle rash. And yeah, I've recorded so many songs since then with this guitar, pretty much every single song. Even though they're not sounding the sort of songs that you record on a high output sort of metal looking Gothic guitar, but it sounds insane anyway. So yeah, we will carry on over here to something that's really nice to have in the studio, my violin and my viola. This is a violin made by a luthier here in the UK. So this is a viola made in East Germany by Hofner. Really beautiful. It's an Albert Stingel, I believe, he was a custom luthier that worked for Hofner. So this is a really beautiful piece of history here. I love this. It's really good. It sounds brilliant. I've used them as a lot of strings on different songs, whatever. And talking about a piece of USSR history brings us over nicely to the piece of USSR history in this studio, which is my 1982 Formanta Faemi, built in the famous Formanta factory that created the legendary Polyvox. And it has not only a lot of the features of the Polyvox, it's often referred to as the little brother, it's also got an insane Polyvox resonance filter inside it, which is why everyone has the Polyvox. It's that filter, and it's here in this instrument as well, and it's absolutely legendary. And I've used this on so many songs, and it's a brilliant piece of gear. And if you want to learn more about it, go check out my recent video on the history of the Formanta Faemi. And then over here we have the rack system. This is my Behringer Ultra Patch Pro, this piece of kit here. It's a bit old, bit abused. I'm not really patched in. I use it a lot, but it's not like it's fully patched in. I need more snakes to send from the interface to here for it to work properly, and I'm running out of guitar cables, so it's actually quite a big problem. But yeah, but the synthesizer runs into this reverb unit here below it, which is a TC Electronics reverb unit. It's a multi-effects with a reverb, so you have a variety of different reverbs, and then you also have a variety of different multi-effects like delay and chorus and flange. It sounds really good. And it really adds a lot to this synthesizer because this synthesizer just outputs raw wave forms, so this turns it into usable atmospheric music. And then below it is this Behringer, what's it called? Composer Pro. It's a dynamic audio dynamic processor. So it's got a gate, compressor, limiter, and a peak limiter. And I use that to plug the bass in. So we send the bass through the compressor before sending it into the computer to add that really warm, fat bass tone to everything I've recorded. And it sounds really good. But yeah, and then moving here, this is an old Casio CDP 130, I don't know what that means. It's a sampling keyboard. It has a bunch of samples in it. It plays the samples. Not very interesting until you hook up a MIDI USB output to it, and then now everything's become interesting because this is my big USB MIDI input to the computer. So we love using the Oxygen Pro. But when we want to use something big, we come over here. If I want to do full like piano sweeps, whatever, we use this. You know, it gives us a lot more range because I've got 88 keys rather than however many that has, and these are full weighted keys. That's mini keys, which feel okay, I guess. We're going to talk about mics now. This is my SE Electronics full sort of studio mic, vocal mic setup. This really beautiful microphone. It's SEX1. It's a cardioid condenser. It's what I put all my vocals through when I record them here. If I'm recording vocals here, they come through this because this, it just sounds it's unrivaled by any of the other microphones I have in this studio, especially when you add in the SE Electronics patented sound deadener shield thing for microphones, and it like, as a vocal setup, I love it so much. This pop filter's a little questionable. If you're like really up close to it, the vocals do go through. But if you're stepped back more like here and singing into it, it's perfectly fine. I sometimes get carried away, which causes a lot of sibilance, which is a problem. Moving over here is my MXL 2006 condenser. I picked this one up for like 40 quid on eBay because it was B stock, because it's got a little, it came out the factory like this, it's got a little dent in the top of the shield. Doesn't make any difference to the sound. I use this a lot on like backing vocals. I've recently been putting it on saxophone, and I've used it as part of a stereo pair for miking up pianos. I really like how this sounds on the bass end of a piano, or no, treble end, sorry, treble end of a piano. This sounds really, really good on the treble end. And then if we move over to the guitar amplifier, my Marshall Origin 5C full tube amplifier, down here on is this mic, which is the MXL 1006. And these two have exactly the same cardioid. They're just, they're different on the, the shape of them's different, like the style. That's more set up like an AKG, that's more like a Neumann. So yeah, it's just a different style, but they have exactly the same capsule in them. So they actually sound nearly identical, if not totally identical. So I like to put this on the bass end of the piano. It sounds really good. So we use these as a stereo pair for miking up grand pianos and stuff like that. Especially on some of my more recent music, especially coming into some of the projects I've been working on, we've been using these on piano and they sound absolutely fabulous. So yeah, moving over to the computer now. Well, we'll talk about guitar rig actually. As I say, Marshall Origin 5C, it's a full tube combo amplifier. It's really good. So it's fully analog. We're pushing air. We're not digitally modeling anything at all. This is all real. And it's got, my only complaint with it is it's got a 10-inch speaker instead of a 12, so it sounds a little more high-end. There's a lot less of the bass in there. But for what I'm doing with it, for playing chunky lead lines and stuff like that, it's not the end of the world. And it sounds better than any model I can get on the computer, so I take this any day. Then down here, move that out of the way, we have the pedal board. I made this pedal board because my pedals were all over the floor, and there was a point at which I was like, I'm taking these out to, you know, gigs, whatever, taking them out. I need all of these pedals able to move all of the time. So down on the floor, we've got a Behringer Super Fuzz, a off-brand tuner pedal that Sastra found in China, a Dafon wah that has a Crybaby wah circuit in that I put in, and then next to that is a Donner Blues driver, a Ronin Holy War, and a Behringer vibrato pedal. I really like the Behringer pedals. They may be in a plastic enclosure and people get like frightened to step on them, but the circuits are identical to Boss, you know, Super Fuzzes. Well, I think that's a Boss Super Fuzz and that's a Boss Ultra Vibrato, literally just in a plastic casing, made in China. So it's not too bad, you know. We get by. Moving over here, we've got speakers. These are Presonus 3.5s, I think. And I have no complaints with these speakers, actually, as studio monitors. They're really good. I've used them for mixing, mastering, the whole shebang, and they work really well. The speaker stands they're on are really interesting, actually. These are old CD racks that I repurposed and put little walls around the top. They have a little concrete piece at the bottom that just holds the sound, stops sound conduction. It separates them from the floor, and they've been slightly raised with padding or whatever else to keep them nice and stable. And then over here, obviously, my Oxygen Pro Mini is this is one of the oldest pieces of studio gear in this studio. So I had these even before I got the Presonuses, and these are absolutely fabulous, like little controllers. I use it now mainly for synthy stuff, as I say, and the pads are really good, but I'm using it a lot for automation at the moment. If I'm writing automation, I'm using these faders non-stop. That's sort of the stuff out in the room at the moment, though I do have a drawer of scary. Yeah, we try to ignore this drawer. It's filled with old snakes, old XLR cables, all sorts of old stuff that I don't need. But the interesting parts of it are, in this case, these are the two microphones that I take places, if I can undo the damn thing. So this is an old Rode condenser microphone that I've had for many years now. This was my first ever mic. It sounds pretty good. Though it doesn't rival any of my new gear, it sounds pretty good. And I've used it on countless songs. I stuck it on Sultan to Swing. Before I got that microphone, I was using this mainly as a vocal condenser. And it's a fabulous microphone, so I do enjoy using it. This is also another thing that, you know, needs addressing. This is my old Stag. It's just a dynamic mic. It's an old thing. I use this as part of a live setup for vocals. It's not the best, but it does a job, so that's all that matters. I've been thinking about taking it busking recently, but we'll see how that goes. In here is just a variety of old pop filters, my drumsticks, old mic clips. Nothing scary really lives. All the scary things live in there. Nothing good lives in that part of the room. So yeah.
What about your computer?
The computer, it's an Asus Tough Gaming M15. It's got an RTX 3050.
That runs everything and sends everything in.
Yeah.
You're able to mix the whole thing on it.
Yes, it is the hub of the operation out here. Probably I've been very reluctant to get a Mac. as you'll know, Oliver, I like Windows. But it does limit me. I am limited to what DAWs I can use with Windows. I've been using Reaper. However, if I was on Mac, I'd probably be using Logic at this point. Final guitar to talk about is this. It's my Tanglewood Crossroads guitar. It is beautiful. It is the best guitar I own acoustically. It's just really resonant. It's that classic big dreadnought, full thickness sound that you love. It's not folky, it's not anything, it is dreadnoughty, and it sounds amazing. More random things. This is still living here. Sastra, if you want your guitar body back, you can have it. I collect old guitar parts from people. This is Sastra's neck for his guitar. And I built this neck, and he can have it back when he wants it. So yeah, this is sort of the main bits of the studio. We do have some stuff down here that I will talk about briefly. This is my headphone box. I use this for splitting headphones. It's not very interesting, but it's okay. Well, that's another one of them gone. But yeah, this is okay. I think that's one of the old ones. That's one of the old ones for the bin anyway, it's fine. Yeah, but this is my headphone box. It's just a micro amp. It's a Behringer product again. I'm not sponsored by Behringer, I promise. I just enjoy the fact that they're cheap and they do a job.
Cheap and cheerful.
Cheap and cheerful. Down there I also have my original amplifier, my first ever guitar amp, which is my Vox Pathfinder 10 watt. It's an okay sort of amp. It does a job. It did a job and now it doesn't. This is my camera, my trusty camera. We did just put Magic Lantern on it. It's an EOS 600D. It's all right. More boring things. Over here, we have the old trusty fallback lead. Everyone needs a fallback lead. If you are building a home studio, it's really important. A fallback lead is a headphone extender. So it means that I can plug in these headphones and I can naff off over there or over here, and I don't need to worry about stretching my headphone cord because this is a headphone extender. This is really useful. This is like, for me, I should have got this like when I first started and not 5 days ago. But yeah, it was since I was working properly in studios with people. Well, yeah, also having people come in here to record with me. It's really useful to be able to run a headphone so that they're not in like the 2 meter radius of you, which is really helpful actually. And yeah, I really find it good and useful. As we can see, there's a mess of cables everywhere, and I'm probably using all the power for like a 20 meter radius. So yeah, this is D-B Studios, and I'm really proud of what this has become. If you go and look back to the Broken Dead album, my first album that I ever released here on this channel, if you go over there and have a look at that, there is a world of difference between the studio that I was working in then and the studio I'm working in now. There's a lot of similarities. We have this, we have this, we have these, but everything else is different. So yeah, I'm really proud of what this has been able to become over the last few years.
How much this has evolved from North Hampshire?
Oh my God, yeah, no, look at that, you know. We are since recording took off for me, everything has gone mental. So this is what my, you know, life has become. So yeah, but thank you very much for all of you who've stuck along on the journey. And I have to thank Oliver for all his help. But yeah, thank you all so yeah, media agent right here. But yeah, and we'll see you all soon. Farewell.
Farewell.
Goodbye.